Growing up in Australia, you only really heard about two races, and that was the Tour de France and Paris-Roubaix.
One lap of the track. Mathew Hayman has won Paris-Roubaix. Unbelievable.
Oh, we've had a mass crash behind. A mass crash behind several riders, and a couple of them not looking too good, I'm afraid.
I remember quite clearly watching the opening classic of the season, Het Nieuwsblad, and I was back in Australia watching it late at night, and we saw Matt crash in that race, and the camera panned in on Matt. And normally when Matt crashes, he gets up and rides straight away, but this time he got up, walked to the side of the road and sat down and held his arm, and that was when I knew it's not going to be good, and everyone realised what it meant for the season, and the talk was the classics are out of the picture now.
One rider from Orica Green Edge, with the size of the frame, you'd have to guess that it's Matt Hayman.
First thing that goes through your head is all of that work, is just like all of that work. And then to get the x-rays, and yeah, there was just a crack through the radius. The doctor comes in and says, yeah, 6 weeks, you won't be riding. And that was the hospital doctor, and the team doctor confirmed that and pretty much said, look, that's your classics done. I think most bike riders, when they're either not on a bike or not at a race, they don't feel like they're a bike rider. And when those things are taken away from you, it's pretty hard.
For the days after, I gave Matt a bit of space, and I was expecting an email or a call from Matt saying, you know, I've had this crash, classics are over, let's reevaluate the goals for the year. But the message I got was, I've broken my arm, but I'm on the trainer now, and what are we going to do? You know,
in hindsight, obviously I'm so glad I didn't, but logically, when you've had a break like that, you probably should just, you know, take some time off, relax a bit, and set new goals.
He sent me a photo of himself on the trainer with his arm on the ladder in front of him, and he said that someone had recommended this program, Zwift, and it might be something of interest that we could use. Straight away, I could see that it was very engaging for the athlete and motivating. At first, I suggested, okay, let's do some 1.5 or 2 hour sessions on it. And after the first few days, Matt was like, no, I can do double sessions on this, I'm enjoying it.
And I think even the first time I used it, you know, still probably 5-6 days after breaking my arm, and it's still in a cast, and I'm going for intermediate sprints, and I'm trying to beat times up climbs, and heart rate was absolutely through the roof, and that's when I thought this is motivational, and this is, yeah, just it's a distraction from the actual training that you're doing, and it's more like you're going for a ride.
And it allowed us to really replicate the demands of racing, and I think that was the key that it gave us, is that we could be very specific with the training that we put in place and replicate exactly what we had to do. It ended up being a blessing in disguise. It
was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, you know, doing these things and asking yourself, are you just pure crazy, or is this going to amount to anything?
So we then spent the next 3 to 4 weeks on the trainer, and we did certain efforts that replicated the cobbles of Roubaix, and I think to be in a closed environment and to have the athlete thinking about Roubaix and imagining themselves riding there, that imagery is very important. I don't think Matt's position in the team was guaranteed until a week before Paris-Roubaix. They weren't sure if he had the fitness to warrant racing, and there's also the risk if he crashed on a recently broken arm that it could do some serious damage. So there was quite a bit of hesitation and discussion about should Matt even start Paris-Roubaix.
When I talk about Roubaix, and it's the race that, you know, is something special. Just saying the words then gives me goosebumps. And it is hard. It's hard, and there's a lot of cobbles, and it's rough. But I also say, you know, in all the cycling I do, it's the one place I want to be on that day. in April. So we got to Roubaix and I said, you know, do the tyres fit in that bike? And the team said, yeah, this version of the foil, we can fit the big tyres in, so that's not a problem. But we've got these 2 other bikes for you. I said, look, I'm going to ride that bike, I know it works. I've raced this last weekend in Spain on it, I feel comfortable on it. And I took a bit of a risk with the wheels too. I said, put in the 50s and I'm going to ride the deep section wheels. And it's not the safest option, but I've got nothing to lose really.
His win was being there in the first place, being on the start line, so that was an achievement in itself. But he knew he was up for a good day and just wanted to be part of the race.
Big one for us, Paris-Roubaix 2016. It'll be my 15th attempt at winning.
Like my dad used to say, you know, got to be in it to win it.
There was 2 or 3 guys designated to try and have one of our team represented in the breakaway, and we're racing for a good couple of hours. And I saw an opportunity there and thought, well, I'm still fresh. I haven't been jumping for 70 odd K, trying to get in any moves, and I jumped and got away.
Come on, Matthew, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Very well, and we can see Hayman coming back here.
Hayman returning, what a ride this has been.
Yeah, that's, I guess, the first time I started to believe when you come back to those guys in the final of the race, and they started to believe too, maybe.
Come on, Matt, come on, come on, come on.
You know, these are guys I grew up with. Matt, and now he's my director, and Lorenzo's Belgian. He knows what these races are, and he knows the history behind them.
And Hayman's gone over the top of Tomica. 38 seconds back to anybody that matters. This is the leading group of 5.
And Hayman riding maybe potentially one of the best Roubaix in his life, and that says a lot for number 15.
I wasn't really thinking, just doing.
Go back! 2K to go.
6 metres, 7 metres. Mathew Hayman has attacked over the 4-time winner Tom Bonin. The other 3 are looking at each other. Bonin, he's struggling to come back in the wheel. Matt Hayman, he's reaching out towards the trophy. Here is a golden opportunity. If you're Mathew Hayman now, you've got to stay in the wheel.
He's doing his best 10 seconds.
Fresh.
He does it now.
When he came into the velodrome, it was just himself and Boonen and Sepp Van Mark, and I was thinking, hey, okay, this is great, we're going to get a podium here, podium's guaranteed. But then 2 other riders tacked onto the back of him on the velodrome, and it was a 5-up sprint.
Now we go round to the bell. 1 lap of the track. Belgium versus Australia. Inside the last lap, it could be a world championship on the track. We are 5 riders for the sprint.
And they're going right up the banking. Mathew Hayman comes down, looks for the wheel there of Tom Bonin, but as they line themselves up, Bonin is in the first position. There's still a long way to go.
To see Matt lead it out, and I kept saying, you know, he's going to win, he's going to win, he's going to win.
Hayman is leading out. It's Stannard around the outside. Hayman with his nose in front. Bonin is trying to challenge, but it's Mathew Hayman. It's an early birthday present. Hayman holding on.
Mathew
Hayman wins.
Mathew Hayman has won Paris-Roubaix, only the 2nd Australian ever. Unbelievable.
Turns 38 in 10 days. That's Danny Clark, the Soigneur. Dan Jones capturing the moment.
Oh my God.
That's you.
Oh mate. I actually have trouble watching. I haven't actually seen the whole race because I get a bit too emotional, and I just don't really want to go through 5 or 6 hours of that.
You don't want to talk about his age too much, but he's like a junior. He's motivated again, he's got goals to win, and while he's got his own personal goals, he really wants to share his experience and his value with his teammates.
for Roubaix, you know, always keep riding in Roubaix, but it's probably actually been something that I've used for my whole cycling career, that just keep plugging away. And yeah, I guess persistence is a word that I wouldn't mind people using if they're talking about me at the end of my career, that, you know, I didn't give up. And I guess it's for guys like that now, they can see that, you know, they've been close to the front themselves. If you just keep trying, who knows? You know, the night before Roubaix, I've said it before, for me it's like the night before Christmas, and after Roubaix you realise you need to wait another year to do another one.